Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade, and I am here with another video. Yes, it's been a day or two. Again, I'm still playing Ostrich and sticking my head in the sand and ignoring most of what's going on. However, I felt compelled to do a video concerning Fox News. So, Trey Gowdy, who I'm not the biggest fan of, I actually think he's a bit of a rhino. But anyway, he went to work for Trump on his legal team, and Fox News decided to cut ties with Trey Gowdy over this. He's no longer a Fox News contributor. So just FYI, let's understand something. You can work on the president's legal team and still be a Fox News contributor. And so a Fox News contributor is just somebody that, comes on and talks every now and then. It's not like there's some sort of strange conflict of interest. It is what it is. So I don't know if you've been noticing what's going on at Fox, but Fox is going downhill fast. It's like a roller coaster going, 200 miles an hour straight down. They're in free fall. And I wanted to point out a few examples of why they're in free fall. Then I want to also point out another news organization that you can go to take over for Fox News, because I am basically, with this video, I'm going to tell you Fox News is not your friend, and it's time to move on. I'm not going to tell you that Tucker Carlson's not your friend, because I think he is. So the two things can be true at the same time. Tucker can be a great American who's awesome and is actually standing up to his network, and his network can be going downhill really fast. Those two things can be very much true. Also, Laura Ingraham, Greg Gutfeld, and Hannity are probably still okay, but for the most part, the more the news side. So these guys are editorials, right? But more the news side is gone. You can't trust them anymore. Anyway, let's. Trey Gowdy gone. Cannexed. Fox News ratings are down 11%. I think we're noticing what's going on at Fox. If you haven't noticed, you're wondering why Fox News' ratings are down 11%. It's because they deserve to be down 11%. Because Fox is losing our trust. I personally have moved. I've moved to One American News. These are the guys that I'm going to recommend for all of you. If you're looking for some news organization to take the place for Fox, that would be these guys, One American News. I've watched their a bunch of their news programs here lately. They're actually really good. It's like actually watching the news. And some of you might not understand what I mean, but if you were alive, if you've been alive around this planet for any period of time, this program, the One American News Network, actually reminds you of news from like a decade or two ago. It's like actually pretty darn good. So I strongly recommend these guys. 2 thumbs up. And Tucker Carlson He took a swipe at Neil Cavuto. If you're wondering why he took a swipe at one of his fellow Fox News employees, it's because Neil Cavuto decided to censor Kayleigh McEnany. She was giving a press conference, and she was pointing out the abundant election fraud problems. So she had a packet of affidavits in her hand, and evidently this offended Neil Cavuto's senses. Evidently he's a wacky liberal Democrat or a conservative defeatist or whatever the hell he is. He decided that he didn't want to let the American people hear from the White House press secretary about voter fraud and a huge packet of affidavits of American citizens who are attesting to the voter fraud in Michigan. So yeah, pretty shady shit. Some other shady stuff. Judge Jeanine Pirro has been suspended, fired. There's some mixed information here. Some sources are saying that she's going to be back, that it's just a temporary spanking because, well, basically she wanted to run on her show. She wanted to do coverage of the voter fraud, and evidently Fox News didn't want her to do that, so they either fired her or they suspended her. There's claims that she's just suspended and she'll be back in a week or two. But either way, it's shitty. Fox News has gone the way of the dodo and has jumped into the silly pool with all the rest of lamestream media and has decided to leave us all in the lurch. So it's not to say that there isn't any mainstream news for us. Well, there isn't. So Fox News is, if you will, it's a fairly large channel. Fox is sizable, right? One American News is not exactly an NBC, a CBS, a CNN, or a Fox. You know, Fox and CNN are cable, which compared to ABC, CBS, and NBC, they're small and insignificant. However, compared to everything else, they're giants, you know. So, yes, ABC, CBS, and NBC being the old school on the airwaves networks have had a certain period of time where they've been able to develop a bit of a monopoly, if you will. The cable programs like Fox and CNN have certainly, I think, caught up. I wouldn't say completely, but yeah. So ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox News, and CNN are legacy media. They're mainstream media. They are dinosaur media. God, I remember when I was younger, and people used to complain about news on TV taking over for news on the radio. And now here we are. People are, well, I wouldn't say complaining, but you can definitely see that there is the internet is attempting to become a new site of news. It's kind of like it's the new way, right? It's taking over for TV, kind of the same way that TV took over for radio. Um, and you can tell that the lamestream media isn't taking this well. So they're doing everything they can to kind of fight against this. And I don't want to say that the reason lamestream media has gotten so partisan and so not news-like is because of the internet, because they're having to fight against the internet, because they think they need to become part entertainer now to, you know, stand up against the Steven Crowders and the Young Turks and the Tim Pools, or Liberal Hive Mind, or whoever. You know, there's all kinds of internet personalities, and so many of them have their niche. Like if you're interested in stuff about maybe how about comic books, film, cartoons, movies, you know, kind of like that realm of things. You have a whole slew of individuals like Geeks and Gamers and Doomcock and anyway, there's so many different internet personalities out there, and they all can like focus on some sort of niche, or they could go very general and broad and cover like the news completely, or they could go completely political or whatnot. There's so many ways that a random individual on the internet can fill in for the big gaping hole lamestream media is leaving by not actually doing their jobs. The Fourth Estate news used to be an important part of our culture, but now we can't trust them to bring us the news. Now they've just become a propaganda arm for their favorite political party. And it's really sad. Anyway, Fox News is evidently fallen by the wayside with the rest of mainstream media. And so now it's time to move on. It's time to move on to places like One American News, or go back to old school and read the Epic Times, things like that. But or, you know, get on the internet, find people like me, Tim Pool, Louder with Crowder, whoever. You know, there's plenty of sources, Ben Shapiro. There's plenty of people online that can fill the void that mainstream media is leaving behind. It's, I don't want to say it's sad to see Fox fall, but Fox was never really that trustworthy. They always did stuff that made you scratch your head and say, huh? But for the most part, Fox did toe a fairly conservative line, but now they've lost that line. And I think it's time that we move on. Let Fox know that we're tired of them, and let's watch their ratings drop even further. Anyway, I am James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade. This has been my video. I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. It's kind of a boring-ish topic, or maybe it's an interesting topic to you. I know some people could be very much interested in this, especially if you're any type of conservative-leaning individual, or even a moderate that leans to the right, or well, moderates these days have been pushed to the right. And you know what I mean if you're a moderate and you understand that statement. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, all, peace.